Welcome back to another episode of Stay Weighed In UFC edition 289. So for this episode, I'm joined by some special guests from Calf Kick Sports. If you introduce yourself, lads.
It's Ash from Calf Kick Sports, and
we got Tim from Calf Kick Sports as well. Pumped to be here. I was pumped to be invited. Thanks, guys.
100%.
It's been a while. Thanks for coming on, man. It's been a while when I think I was on your podcast a while ago, so I said we got to repay the favor at some point. So here we are. So fresh off UFC 289 of our late nights, early mornings, viewings of UFC. We'll go into the main event. Uneventful main event. There's more, there's more news about what happened post-match, but Amanda Nunes beats Aldana. What is the first thoughts that come to mind about the fight?
Glorified sparring session. Honestly, I you know that the quote that Daniel Cormier said when you don't want to be there, like he says this all the time. You don't want to be there taking pictures, and literally Aldana was just taking pictures the whole fight, and I think the moment was just too much.
Froze up.
It was too much for her. You know, she didn't attack. She wasn't aggressive. She didn't even take any chances. And, because of that, it just ended up being, as I said, a glorified sparring session. I mean, what do you guys think?
Yeah, that's the thing. She was outstruck more than 3-1 in this bout. She came in as a well-touted striker with a size advantage, with knockout power. You just wanted to see a little bit more from her, because that's what we like in sports, is these underdog stories, these things where it's like she's a 5-1 underdog or whatever. That's what we like about sports. You just want to see her really put it on it. She finished the fight. Her corner was trying to get her motivated, but it's like, please. Do something. Just please do something. Just try something.
She needed Leon's cornerman in there.
Honestly. And then the last round, she lost at 10-8 on all the judges' scorecards. It's just not a great performance. And then Amanda Nunes retired, which leaves it as like, this was the top contender in this division?
Yeah. That was. It's going to be like a massive ability gap, I think, knowing that Amanda has retired, especially the fact. Obviously, the cringe thing about after the fight was Julianna Pena saying, "I'm the reason you retired." And do you know what? I'm annoyed? Because casual fans are the reason why fighters are doing this. And the reason I say that is this. If we stopped entertaining people that have done this before, whether it's like the Marleys of the world when he got banged by Chio Vera and said that I didn't lose. And then you got the Colby Covingtons, who we also saw get knocked out by Kamaru Usman, say he didn't lose. Because people kept entertaining stupid people like that. This is why we're here. So now when fighters are in predicaments such as this, they're just going to make outrageous statements because there's some sick casual out there that's going to be like, do you know what? You're right. And I'm just like, listen, man, full kudos to Pena. First fight. She went out there, she done what she done, shocked the world, brilliant. You had your Matt Serra moment.
Yes, yeah.
After that second fight, you can't be talking rubbish like that. It weren't even close. Like, there's a famous clip that everyone keeps on putting up when Pena's just running, throwing straight punches, and Amanda just cracks her and she falls to the ground. And I don't want to disrespect Pena because I don't want to disrespect fighters like that. But it does get to some point where it's just like, please stop. Like, unless you're going to be funny like Charles Sonnen, the way Charles Sonnen says. But he's an anomaly. He's the only one that can get away with saying that he's undefeated. Other than Charles Sonnen, I do not want to hear it. But I'll bring this to you two then. But who do you think is the fight they're going to make for the belt now that Pena's retired?
Honestly, no one. I can't think of. I mean, there's going to be Pena, and then who's going to fight her? Maybe Raquel Pennington because she's probably the highest up in the rankings.
What old school name? Do you know?
Yeah,
what?
I mean,
she was the backup for this.
She was the backup for this fight. So she was even after the fight ended, she tweeted saying, "I was the backup for this fight. I would have done a way better job than Aldana," and I kind of agree. Like, she would have been a bit.
Before you guys carry on with, let me just say the top. Wait, let me.
Go for it.
Bantamweight at the moment. I'm just looking it up now. So Pena's at number 1.
Yeah.
Pennington number 2.
Holly
Holm, who just had a victory, number 3, and Ketlin Vieira, number 4, with Aldana at 5. So Aldana now out of it, and Dana's probably going to scratch her off of any potential fights after this horrid performance.
Yes, yeah.
Those prior 4, do you think they should do a tournament to find out who's number 1?
That's a
or
good
out
idea.
of the 4, do you think there's 2 that should be fighting for the title?
That's a good idea. I think a tournament makes more sense at this point because you can't really sell a title fight in the women's bantamweight division right now. You've got Pena, and as you rightfully said, she's making all the excuses under the sun. She even, I think I was going to bring this up, but she made the stupidest point. She goes, the reason why I lost is because Amanda Nunes completely switched their style up. I'm like, well, what are you expecting? Like, it's like, nah, it's because she switched the style up and I wasn't expecting it. I'm like,
do you know what it is with fighters? They need a certain level of delusion to do what they do. I get it, but then sometimes it's so scary when that delusion is placed in other areas of life, because it's just like your PR team or whoever's on your team should really stop you from doing interviews.
Yeah, I mean, her mouth got into the fight, though. To be fair, like, why would you not continue? She didn't deserve
that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. There's a certain level of delusion that you need.
Yes,
but then it's just scary when it's like, it's almost like outside of fighting, I don't want to see this level of delusion. I do not want to hear from you. There's certain people like, I don't want to hear from you unless it's to do with fighting, because the level of delusion makes you sound stupid. But sorry, I digress. As you guys were saying, Tim, who do you? So Ashko's tournament. What do you think?
Ashko's tournament.
I don't know. This division is there's no good names in it, and unfortunately, I think it's going to be Holly Holm. But like, of course, Julianna Pena is saying all these corny, ridiculous things, and I'm not sure who's buying it, but she's saying all these things because she's watching her paycheck retire. Yeah. Like, imagine someone's like, "Hey, you're going to fight Amanda Nunes, and this is how much you're getting paid." Great, no problem. And then the next fight, they're like, "All right, we're not going to pay the same amount, but you're going to fight Yana Santos next." And you're like, "Oh, what the hell? This sucks so much." Maybe the biggest loser in all of this was, so when Julianna Pena knocked out Amanda Nunes last year, the biggest loser was Kayla Harrison, who was negotiating for that Amanda Nunes fight.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
So I don't know. This is 135, but I'm not sure if she now is going to turn around and be like, "Hey, can we still make a deal here? You got no stars. I've got a little bit of, backing here."
No,
I don't know.
That I think that door's shut, especially after.
Yeah. I guess she lost.
Yeah. What Amanda fought her at 155, maybe 145.
Yeah,
Kayla Harrison lost her fight as well.
Yeah.
At this point, Kayla Harrison just go fight Cyborg, because this Amanda fight is, the time. Do you know what? For old time's sake, part of me actually wants to see Holm lift up the belt one more time. Just because
I would love that. Honestly,
I have a Holm or Pennington.
Yeah.
I think UFC will probably back Holm more, only because Holm has that magic moment of knocking out Ronda. I feel like there's still a bit of juice to squeeze out of her name. Whereas with Pennington, it's just kind of like, the old guard got a new belt, but
the champion isn't there. It's a paper champion.
Yeah, right? I've been saying this in the last few pods where there's the scary point of you either get fans to love you, get fans to hate you, or you're in a spot where they don't care.
Yeah, that's the worst place to be in, when they just don't give a shit.
When they don't give, and it seems like this whole division is just in that spot, unless they get a star that comes through where they're just like, I don't care.
Yeah. And you've also got to remember, Holly Holm is 41 as well. Yeah. I know you said, we'll try and squeeze as much juice as possible, but it's like you're talking about a year maximum, maybe two. 3
years. Are you guys sadists? Like, over the last decade, have you not seen Holly Holm fight enough? Like, she, over her last 14 fights, she fought 5 rounds in about 10 of them. Have you not seen enough Holly Holm in your life? I've seen enough Holly Holm in my life. And she can beat a 5-round decision against pretty much anyone in that division. Just the way she fights very safely. She fights very boringly. But she could easily be champion. I have no doubt about it. But like, I'm not gonna watch it.
Like I said, I think that head kick has basically is gonna help her name live on, even when it's times when situation like this, like you may feel like I don't really want to watch Holm, but that head kick, it will live on forever. So if she gets the belt, I think the UFC is going to look at it at like, until we can get another certified star, at least Holm is what's the word I'm looking for?
She's a name. She's a proper name.
She's a name, yeah.
Yeah.
She's a name that people know. So it's almost like, oh, Holmes got the belt. Oh, that's nice. Rather than someone like, I don't know, Pennington, where it's just like, no disrespect to her, but it'll be like, who? Or do you know what? If Pena can get the belt in good fashion, I don't know if she's injured right now. If Pena can get the belt in good fashion, it will still be seen as jokey just because of how she's been conducting herself. However, she's polarizing enough where it's just like, all right, Pena, you've got the belt now. Let's see if you can back up your talk.
Yeah.
But she's now in that bracket of she's getting people to hate her. So, it'll be interesting. But for what happened in the co-main though was fireworks.
Now we're talking.
Listen,
the real main event.
I was so upset. I didn't know my guy Charlie Oliveria was underdog because I would have put a bunch of money on him. I only found out after the fight, so I'll bring on to you guys. But what I will say is this: I never saw Dariush as the boogeyman that everyone else saw him as. His last fight against
Matthew Gamrot.
It was good, but it weren't like when the way people were going on about it.
Yeah, I remember.
I was just like, it was a nice victory. I didn't see nothing that was scary. So then when people were saying like how he's gonna run over Charles, I was just like, you lot are letting the loss against Makhachev fool you into thinking that Charles at this point has submitted anyone that's not the champion, aka Makhachev. He had literally beaten the top 5. Corey, Gaethje, now Dariush.
Yeah, he's beaten everyone.
Finished them.
Yeah, destroyed them.
Like, stop playing with Charles. Like, I think what we do as a sport sometimes, or as a fan base, is that people feel like, and Michael Chandler as well, all finishes. I think what people do is like, someone will lose in a championship fight, and then they forget like a championship fight is literally the best of the best. So of course you're gonna like, if you lose to the champion, there's no shame in it. It doesn't make you crappier than everyone else. So yeah, but back to you guys. What did you think of the co-main?
Ash, go for it.
Yeah, so I mean, it was. Thing is, it was a typical Charles Oliveira performance. I thought he did really well. I kind of knew it would be an early, like it wouldn't last all 3 rounds, but we didn't see anything different. I'll be honest with you. Like I was expecting something different. I was expecting. I mean, the striking looked the same. After he landed the head kick, he started going wild, which is fine. You know that's the style that we expect of Charles Oliveira. But in my head, you can't do these things that. I can't see you doing that to Islam so easily. You know, if you hurt him, I can't expect you to start going, or him to start going wild and then not taken advantage of by Islam. So that's the biggest takeaway I got from that. I know it sounds very negative because, you know, he did a great performance, but you can't help but think, man, you're getting mauled by Islam, even now.
Yeah, man, we all love Chucky Olives. He is what makes MMA so great in terms of this guy is an action-packed fighter on the ground. He's an action-packed fighter off his back. He's an action-packed fighter on his feet. We're talking about 34 fights, 31 finishes. He holds the records for most submission, most finishes in UFC history. I think most like bonuses and stuff like that too.
Both bonuses from yesterday. From yesterday.
Oh, from yesterday. Who did take that? Miller.
Post-fight finish bonuses, I think. He's got the record now.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Amazing. Like what a legacy this guy has, and his comeuppance, or sorry, his how much he supports his family. He never forgets where he came from, his story from like, you know, living in a basement and stuff like that. It's just incredible stuff. He supported his community through COVID. You love the guy. And it was a great win last night. I did expect him to win via knockout, because one of the problems that Beneil Dariush always has is that head movement and MMA are like a weird thing where people don't really know like how to do it perfectly well, and he's a little bit too deep quite often. So I thought he was going to dodge into something, and not bad. I mean, it was a pretty good prediction, all things considered. But yeah, head kick into ground and pound knockout. Love to see it. Great stuff. Great work from the man. But he does, just like Ash was saying, completely agree with you, Ash, on he let Beneil play around in his guard. People like Paul Felder pounded him out from guard. Islam Makhachev Islam's not scared of your guard. It's a crappy position to be in, right? Like Dustin Poirier, Michael Chandler, all these guys are scared of your guard. not Islam Makhachev. I don't think that fight goes any different. But that doesn't mean Charles can still have a great career from here, right? Go ahead, guys.
Yeah. I think. Do you know what? Because me and Ash were speaking about this briefly just before the pod, and then while I was saying, the only difference I realized from Charles is he's not jumpy as much with the technique. So he's holding his ground like a lot. Like even like I feel like with Dustin Poirier Gaethje, when he's been caught, it's because he's tried to do like a flying knee out of nowhere.
Yeah.
No setup. And then
he did that to Islam, to be fair. That's the first thing he did to Islam.
And I think now he's starting to realize, just hold your base. You've got solid striking. So I think he's refined that much of it. Like the striking, he's realized, let me just stay grounded. The power's on the ground, and then the power like comes from upwards instead of like trying to do all these jumping techniques. The only thing I didn't like is, like you mentioned, accepting like being on the ground. Because the moment he decided he wanted to get up, he got up straight away. So in my mind, I'm thinking, just do that, because as great as your guard is like, don't. This is where it gets weird though, because how are we going to tell someone with that many submissions, don't rely on your guard? Do you get what I'm saying?
No, you're right.
It's a catch-22, because obviously we are the spectators, so we're looking at it like, stop using your guard. But then you look at it and it's just like, well, he has got the most submissions for a reason. And people did avoid his ground game for a reason. But I guess maybe just against Makhachev, it's the case of focus on getting up. Don't try sub Makhachev because he's too witty for you to be trying all these other fancy submissions. Get up, base out, and strike him. Because I think he can beat Makhachev striking.
I mean, that's the main problem I had with it.
You can't doubt yourself.
Yeah. I mean, that's the main problem I had with it, because it's like, why not almost like prep for the champion? Like, be a counter wrestler, use your striking. You're much faster than Beneil, but it's almost like, no, I'm going to clinch with him and take him down. I'm like, but just think about Islam. Like, you can't really do that with Islam. You're going to have to rely on your striking. You're probably going to try and avoid the ground as much as possible based on the last fight. So I don't know. I think he just loves to be exciting.
I think that, but I also think it might have been an ego check where it's just like he was getting away with it against other top level fighters.
Yes.
And then he got against Islam, and Islam just said, all that crap that you done against them lot, this ain't running around here.
Yeah, not today, man.
So I think maybe in the rematch, I'm presuming Abu Dhabi. I think in the rematch, listen, go there, get your win. Well, I hope Charlie Olives wins, because I was backing him against Islam the first time. I hope Charlie Olives can get this, and then we can maybe get an incredible trilogy. And that Abu Dhabi card looks like is lining up quite well, because if they still do Leon against, at this point, I don't even know what's happening with Colby. I don't care about Colby. As long as Leon fights on that card, so it's going to be, it's looking at Charlie Olives versus Islam 2. Leon's going to be fighting on that card, and Hamza as well. So we'll see what was out on that card. But what are your closing statements on that co-main event then, guys?
Charles Oliveria is just transcendental. Like, this guy doesn't speak very much English. He flew from Brazil to Canada. He does shows in Las Vegas and Abu Dhabi and gets a pop everywhere he goes. Like, when you're an action fighter, people love you. And I think his legacy will live on as that, as being one of the most entertaining fighters that we've ever seen in the sport. Even if he retires tomorrow, even if he never picks up a belt, I love the legacy that he's built.
For sure.
Yeah. I want to keep it simpler than that and probably a bit more negative. But I personally, you guys are gonna hate me, and probably a lot of people are gonna be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" But I'm more interested to see who wins the bad motherfucker belt, and I want the winner of that to fight Islam, because I feel like they got a better chance of winning. I know that sounds crazy.
Yo,
crazy.
No.
Stylistically.
There is no
Gaethje versus Islam. I think he's learned a lot of his mistakes here that he made against Habib. You're telling me he doesn't have a chance?
Nah, I'm sorry. Do you know what?
No.
I'm sorry, man. No. Do you know why? It's funny because what you accuse Charles of, Gaethje is worse in terms of Gaethje.
That's true. You're right.
And I think Gaethje will get sucked in, and Islam will just use the grappling the same way. Same thing happened with Gaethje and Habib. It's like all you need to do is stay on the outside, keep leg kicking. And then the moment you want to keep on engaging, Habib saw the time and takedown, submission. And I think you think Islam won't do the same. I think
he's
everyone
not,
knows.
He's not Habib, though. He's not Habib.
He's not, but with Gaethje, I think everyone's starting to realize he's one of those fights, and I've said this before, win or lose, you hate to face Gaethje because whether you beat him or you lose to him, you're losing a chunk of your life in that octagon. he's like primary Lawler, where it's like win against him or lose against him, you are losing a chunk of your career inside that octagon when you face guys like that.
Yeah.
But I think Gaethje's in a position where I don't think he can break that glass ceiling of being champion. It will still be elite, but even that Fisayev fight, he did a good comeback, but that showed me if you have that type of first round against the other elite guys, they're gonna get you out of here. Yeah. But I did think that Poirier should have taken this match against Dariush and then gone in for that last shot at the lightweight title. I don't know why he didn't. Maybe it's a good payday facing Justin Gaethje, which I was hoping 100%. He didn't take this fight because part of me was just like, Dustin, why are you taking? This is taking a chunk of your career taking this fight, and you didn't need to take millions. So I hope he's getting a nice payday for this because I don't think this fight was worth it. Yeah. I think he should have taken his Dariush fight and then gone on to face Makhachev, and then Charlie Olives could have faced Gaethje again, or Charlie Olives could have faced someone else. But I think for now, Charlie Olives, with the performance he done yesterday, and like you said, Tim, he barely speaks English, but I like the fact that he did do one part of promo in English. Yeah. And the whole phrase he's now captured of like the champion has a name, and people still saying him like he's not even a champion, and he says he asked them, he goes, "Who's the champion?" And they cheered for him. This guy's got the people, so yeah. Hopefully, I think that is the fight to make, and I think with that promo, I think.
Wait, Ash has been itching to respond here. Ash, please jump in here.
No. For which bit?
I'm talking about Justin Gaethje and Islam.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I'm thinking about, man. I think that would be such a fireworks fight, and I was so excited, for Habib versus Gaethje, the first fight.
Oh yeah, big time. Man.
Oh, good. And we could see a potential another one of this. Yeah, like that's all I could think of. I mean, I'd like to see Dustin win. Kind of fight for the title, win it, but I do like Dustin Gaethje.
I would love to see Dustin with a belt, but this path that he's taken is just like this is the most confusing path I've ever seen because I'm pretty sure.
Why did you say that?
Dustin's a big enough name. You don't think that if Dustin went to the UFC and said, "Give me that title shot," Dustin's a big enough name at this point where he's coming off 2 wins against Conor and Chandler. You don't think that Dustin could have got a title shot if he wanted?
But you've also got to look at it like it. So Dustin's, he's a businessman as well, obviously. Yeah. So if you look at it in the sense that if I go for a title shot now, it won't sell as much because people aren't going to believe yet I'm going to win this fight, and I go on pay-per-view points. Why would you do that now? Like, it makes sense for him to kind of build his name a little bit. Maybe take out...
Build his name against Justin... Oh. This is what I'm saying. Building his name against Dariush would have been a better thing. Building his name against Gaethje is just like...
you got main event slot. You got a little shiny belt. It's all corny,
belt, baby. Come on,
the BMF belt. I love it.
BMF belt. Are you crazy?
Do you know what it is? I don't get me wrong. I am going for Dustin in this fight. I am. It's just more about the damage you'll accumulate in this fight.
Yeah.
Because whoever wins that fight is definitely going to face the winner of Oliveria and Makhachev. But it's almost a case of, in my mind, I'm thinking, how much damage would you have accumulated once you get past that?
Yeah.
Because then you're going to get to that title fight, and then I hate to be this guy, but I don't want it to be a case of looking at it like, I just don't believe Dustin can do this because he's taking too much damage. And he's getting to that point. For me, he's in the twilight of... You can argue he's in the twilight of his career rather than his prime.
Yeah.
So it's just like, why take a dangerous fight like this during
for Dustin or just for both of them?
Both of them.
Both of them.
I think for both of them. And even Gaethje in his last fight against Fisayev, I think he was even saying in the post-fight interview, like, this is going to be my last run because that the damage he's taken, the wars he's been in, you can't keep on doing that. And as much as we we love to watch these fights. This is the reason why we love the sport. But then you also got to remember, these are real people. These are like real.
Yeah, of course.
I feel, listen, I've trained MMA for a long time. Yeah, I feel banged up just training, let alone fighting at the level that these lot are fighting at. I feel banged up from wear and tear. So I can't imagine the wear and tear that's been happening on these top contenders' bodies. But we'll see what happens, man.
I mean, it goes back to I don't know if you heard this line, yeah, and I love this line from the Ariel Helwani show. Dustin had an interview, and he goes, "So you think he's just reckless? Like he just gets into car crashes, yeah?" Ariel was asking Dustin, and Dustin was like, "Yeah, but he wears a seatbelt now."
That is the best. That, you know what I'm gonna say? I want to end on there. That is the best way to describe it. Car crash, but he wears a seatbelt. But on that note, I want to thank you guys. Just honestly, just being entertaining. So thank you once again. If you just want to plug your podcast and then have the final word.
Yeah, I mean, guys, you know where to find us. Follow us on Calf Kick Sports. We're on Instagram, YouTube, we're everywhere, man. Come find us.
Yeah, check out Calf Kick Sports.
Love it. As always, people, stay weighed in to Calf Kick Sports. Bye.